You know the winning formula. This video is part of our introductory series entitled You and the IRS Collection Machine. The introductory series features a number of phrases which we use in our practice to help folks understand the nature of their IRS problem at a more personal, deeper, and non-technical level. I've coined these phrases more than 25 years ago, and they've stood the test of time. They help you understand what's happening to you because you can relate to them through your regular life experiences, and they'll give you more confidence so that you can successfully take the first step in resolving your IRS problem. You know the formula. Do it yourself with Digital Tax Attorney. Get 2 digital tax attorney sets and talk to one of our tax attorneys for free. This is industry revolutionary. Let us help you help yourself. Then decide what's best for you. Remember, the more you know, the less you pay. Our topic is the IRS black hole. What is it and how to get out of it? Now, an IRS black hole describes an IRS problem that actually prevents you from hiring the professional help that you would want to help solve your IRS problem, and where the IRS takes advantage of your inability to hire help, your inexperience, and your lack of knowledge. At gut level, you know you need help because you don't have that in your experience. You don't have working knowledge that relates to IRS matters. And yet, on the other hand, when you make an effort to hire that help, you're told, one, you either don't owe enough money to the IRS to justify the fees that you would pay, or you come to that conclusion on your own. I mean, when you're ill, you need a doctor. So when you have an IRS problem, you'd want to have that help. But what do you do when you can't hire that help? What do you do when the IRS problem that you have actually prevents you from hiring that representation? And where it puts you in a position where that's all you do is get more and more IRS demands. And where you start to feel like the only thing you can do is to pay. You have to understand, the IRS black hole is an institution. It's a function that's deeply embedded in the IRS collection machine. And make no mistake, the IRS and its collection agents count on the IRS black hole to work to its advantage and to your disadvantage. It's programmed to take all of that inability into account. It's programmed to take your lack of action, your inability to move this forward to a conclusion on your own, into account. It'll grind away on you, no matter what, regardless of whether or not its demands are right or wrong, fair or unfair, legal or illegal. Whether you can pay the IRS bill or whether you can actually afford paying that bill and keeping basic living expenses satisfied. It'll continue. But don't worry, you're not alone. Now, by the IRS's own admission, there's somewhere between 6 million and 12 million people at any given time that have IRS problems. And the majority of them owe the IRS less than $15,000. So what do? That's what Digital Tax Attorney is all about. We created Digital Tax Attorney for you so that you can know what we know and you can work to solve your own IRS problem and in an affordable and in a manner that's acceptable to you. So what do you do when you want the help? What do you do when you believe the IRS is wrong, or that it's treating you unfairly, or that you simply can't afford to pay what the IRS demands, or within the time period that it demands it, and still meet your other living expenses? Or where you're terrified that it's going to seize your pay, embarrass you at work, seize your bank account, destroy your credit relations, and upset your basic relations with basic creditors. What do you do? Do you call the IRS and hope it exercises the rights that it identifies that you have and that it does that to your best intentions and interests? Of course not. That's not going to work. That's ridiculous. But you can turn to Digital Tax Attorney. You can get informed. You can do it yourself. You can get out of the black hole with Digital Tax Attorney. Now, here are some examples of the IRS black hole in action. Say you received a letter from the IRS. It demands $4,000 in penalties and interest. And the IRS threatens to seize your wages and your bank account. Now, immediately anxiety sets in. And after you call some of the many business and brokers who advertise that they can provide you with the expert help that you need, you realize that you're calling people that advertise who also tell you not to call because you don't owe the IRS $10,000 or $15,000 or more. And they're quite aware that because you don't, their big fees cannot be justified. And even if they offer to represent you and they quote you a fee, you're going to realize that as a matter of practicality, or maybe just personally and for your own reasons, that you don't want to pay them. It doesn't make any sense. I mean, you could end up paying more if you end up paying them and the IRS what it demands than just simply writing a check to the IRS right now. So what do? Without knowing your rights and without knowing what the IRS can and cannot legally do, you're forced to make a very difficult decision. Do you somehow raise the money to pay the advance and hire the expert knowing that you may be responsible for all those fees and what the IRS is demanding, and where nobody gives you any guarantees that you can end up owing less than the total? There's no guarantees. And they'll tell you that. Or do you go without help, knowing that by doing so, you're going to lose some of those very basic rights and the very knowledge and experience that you need to enforce them, so that you're treated fairly? Now, assume you hire the expert and he bills you at 10 hours and the matter comes to a conclusion, but it costs you $300 an hour. That's a $3,000 fee. And you know that that fee, plus what the IRS demands, adds up to something that's more than what you're comfortable paying right now. Digital Tax Attorney is affordable. Digital Tax Attorney shows you what your rights are and how to use them, how to rely on them. It's your way out of the IRS black hole. Every taxpayer has rights, every single taxpayer. And quite frankly, they're easy to understand. Then all you have to do is use them, is exercise them. So here's the key. The very first step in getting out of the IRS black hole is to take a deep breath and let that news sink in. Then get and look at our digital attorney sets. They'll help you address and resolve your IRS meltdown. And you'll be able to help other family members and your friends who have similar experiences. It's as simple as that. This is industry revolutionary. Plus, when you get 2 or more digital tax attorney sets, you can talk to one of our tax attorneys about your situation. So again, at any given time, there's 6 to 12 million people just like you who have IRS problems. So don't feel alone. And as much as your circumstances are unique, you have to understand that there's a system and a method to work through them. So the time to act is now. Don't wait anymore. Remember, give us an opportunity to help you help yourself. Thank you.